The second you came on and I saw your smile, it was like this warm blanket. Like, oh my God, I love you.
You have a super
I'm a fan.
Super fan.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you.
And not just of the show, you. Like all the other dudes, she doesn't care about the other dudes. It's you.
Oh, that I will make sure to tell them that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Tracy from Denver doesn't like any of you.
I have to agree. You have a nice smile. That's a nice smile.
Thank you. I now I feel weird about it.
No, he's just gonna grin the whole time. He's gonna grin the whole time. No, I was really excited to get this because truly, like, it's gotta feel really good, and the whole show based on best friends having fun. I mean, I know the whole premise of the show, but knowing how many times you have made people laugh has got to feel so good.
I never thought of it like that, but I guess cumulatively it's got to be up there now by this point. Yeah. I mean, the amount of times I've laughed myself is insane.
Yeah.
You know,
for people who don't know the premise, what is Impractical Jokers? You guys were actual friends as children.
Yeah, we just met in high school in 1990. So we've known each other 34 years. And we're comedians and we're a comedy troupe and stuff. But the show itself is us putting ourselves in social situations and competing against each other in those exact situations. And whoever does the worst gets punished at the end of the show. That's pretty much like the best way to sum it up. But it has been a wild ride. I mean, it's 13 years, 300 episodes. Season 11 is airing right now on TBS. It just started 3 weeks ago. I never thought that, you know, it would be like it would go this far. So the amount of situations I've been in is insane.
What's the worst punishment you've had to endure?
It's hard to answer that question now. After all this time. I used to know, but now it's like I've done so much that I bury some of it because it's like PTSD.
Scarred emotionally.
I mean, like, bingo is one of my, like, I felt that for you. Like, oh my God, like I had to pause it for a second. Like, they're like, do it again. When you had to call bingo, those old ladies were
You don't mess with them. So it was at a casino. They had a bingo at like Foxwoods Casino, I think, or Mohegan Sun. I don't want to get it wrong. Foxwoods, and it was like 1,100 old people. I mean, there's 1,100 people, but I would say the majority were above 95. And could I? Do you guys? There's no cursing on this.
Like very PG.
Okay.
Very PG.
Like your show.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this we had to cut it out of our show, but an old lady, after the third time I yelled bingo, I didn't have it. She said, "I'll break your effing leg." She threatened me like a mafia hitman.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. And you just have to keep this like straight in the face. And I think that's the part that drew me to you the most is when like your face tells like such a story. And when you don't want to do it, it's just so funny. Oh my God.
There's no faking those feelings, you know, like, and they don't go away because like the show is, these people are real. You never know what they're going to do. You never know what they're going to say. And so like, as much as like maybe my skin has gotten a little thicker over the years, it's still, I'm still who I am. It's just never really gets to the point where you just are flippant about it. Like you always are nervous.
I bet.
You said the new season is about to premiere. So you've got it in the can. You've already taped it.
So today we're filming on Wednesday, and that's Wednesday's the last day of filming for season 11.
Okay, so what do we have to look forward to? How do you get punished this season?
Yeah, so season 11 started airing like 3 weeks ago. We're on TBS now. We used to be on True for all those years. We're on TBS, and the season's pretty nuts. I mean, I just it's been pretty bad.
Isn't he your favorite?
You're so giggly. I love it. Yeah.
Like he's just your favorite. Like
we're doing to Murray today. So he's getting punished. Like after like this afternoon, I'm going to film, and he like writes books, and and he's got this new book out, and he doesn't know this, but we're going to a race car, like a racetrack for cars, like 200 miles an hour, and we're strapping him to the hood of a race car, and we're having him do his audiobook while the car is racing around the track.
That's awesome. And he doesn't know this yet. And it's happening
today. He doesn't even know we're going to a racetrack. He's being held off site in a blindfold, and then we're gonna walk him onto the track and then show him for the first time on the track.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they electrocuted me. That was a big one.
Which one?
They electrocuted me.
Yeah, I mean, just casual.
Like serious, or like the Mexico, like you're at a bar and you hold onto those handles and get electrocuted kind of a thing?
Well, they were like electric shock collars that were used for large animals like dogs and bears, and they tied them to my body all over. And then, well, this was last season. So they like, I was at a museum. I was a tour guide at a museum, and it was a real museum, real tour group. And they were shocking me all over my body the whole time. And I had to make sure that no one on my tour group realized that anything suspicious was going on. So I had to like give the tour all this information, like through the pain.
Oh God, that's awesome.
And this is the physical stuff, and there's also like this stuff that's just really just hard to, just hard to do. Like there's this famous story about Don Rickles, right?
Love him.
He was friends with Frank Sinatra, and he asked Frank Sinatra. It's a famous story. Like he said one night they were at a casino, and he's like, "I'm going to be having dinner with this woman. I want to impress her. At some point during the night, could you walk over to my table and say hello to me? It'll impress her if she knows I know you." So Frank Sinatra was like, "No problem." And then halfway through their meal, he walked over and he goes, "Excuse me, Don." He goes, "Frank, can't you see I'm with somebody right now? Get the hell out of here." And they took that and they made it because he's like one of my idols. They made it a punishment for me. So they just had me at this restaurant, and I was going up to people saying, "I'm on a first date and she's going to be here any minute. Would you mind coming over to my table at any point?" And just saying like, "Hey, thanks for your help earlier," whatever it is. And just because it'll make her look like a good first impression. And then when these people walked over to my table, I had to literally curse them out and tell them to walk away. And I mean, to think that they were nice enough to get up from their meal,
right,
and lie for me, to do me like a solid, and then for me to like just embarrass them like that. It's just mortifying. It's just mortifying.
All right, so you're headed out on a big comedy tour. You've got a special on YouTube that everybody can watch now. Do you miss the boys when you're out on tour without them?
No. I'm with them 24/7. No. I went to high school with them. I actually I built into our contract that I need 6 months tonight. So so the special's out. It's called Terrified. It's on YouTube. It's been well received. And so this tour I'm doing now it's called Everything's Fine. So if you saw that special or you saw me on tour before, this is 100% new material. And it's different. I tour with the guys. We're finishing up this next week, our 5th international tour in 12 years. So, wow. And that's more geared toward the show and fans of the show. This is straight stand-up comedy, nothing about the show, just me, my life, and things like that. So it's two completely different things. So So if you haven't seen me, like I've been doing stand-up forever, but I never had the time to actually do a special because the show is so consuming. And so I finally did. And so this is educating a lot of people that I'm actually a working, touring comic. So that's it's exciting,
It's got to feel so good for you too. Where, I mean, people do know you obviously from the show, but it feeds your own creativity to get out and do that. I've seen one of my favorites is that when you're talking about the tooth fairy and being terrified of all of these things, like growing up, and it is so your character. It's so true to who you are, and it's real life stuff, which I love. That people are so like, I didn't think about it that way. So you have a very interesting way of being very relatable.
Thank you. Yeah, the special is basically a collection of stories from my life, from childhood into adulthood, of the scariest moments of my life. And as you mentioned, the tooth fairy. My parents didn't tell me about the tooth fairy until I lost my first tooth. They didn't mention it, and then I lost it, and they told me about it. So I had like an afternoon to process that. And I don't think we really listen to what we tell kids. Like
no.
An insane thing like that. I was like, so a woman, a fairy is coming to the home tonight while I sleep to take my teeth. Like, you know what I mean?
On paper, it sounds
like you guys are
horrifying.
This is going to be okay with you? Like, and I was like, I literally was like, what about the locks? Like, how's she getting in? And it was like, it was terrifying. And then, and then my dad's like, he told me about the money, and I was like, all right, I'm listening. But then I freaked out so bad. I woke up in the middle of the night and I freaked out so bad that my dad, he had to tell me the truth about it. And so like I believed in the tooth fairy for 4 hours essentially, you know. But I'll never forget it. He was telling me, don't worry. I mean, I was like kind of inconsolable. I was like that scared. Yeah, it's insane that a woman's gonna fly here and take my body parts and stuff.
You're letting her, like, you're okay with this? Like,
it can't just be like an in-person face-to-face. I asked if I could leave the tooth in the mailbox. Like, why does she have to come while I'm in bed, sleep? It's just weird, right? He's like, I'm the tooth fairy. Don't worry about it. He was showing me the envelope. He's like, I'm the tooth fairy. And I was like 6 and I was like so upset. And I thought he was telling me not that there wasn't a tooth fairy, but that he was the official, he was the fairy. And I couldn't believe that. I was like, what is this? Like, what is our relationship? Like, are you my father?
How many levels are there to this?
How deep does this go?
Yeah, let's keep peeling this onion. I mean, come on.
God, it's therapy fuel. I'll tell you what. I would always put my my tooth in a jar, in a glass with water in the kitchen. I didn't want tooth fairy coming in my bedroom. That's as close as I wanted.
Wait. First of all, in a jar and water?
So like a juice cup, I remember, and my mom would fill it with water and I'd put my tooth in there so it sank. And then in the morning, I'd wake up and there was a quarter in there, still in the water.
Was the water?
And the tooth is gone. No, I don't know why water.
I've never heard water.
Water didn't need to come into play here.
I know.
It doesn't add anything.
It's under a pillow. And this
no
is brand
pillow.
new.
I don't want some fairy coming and trying to wake me up, moving me over.
Your version's even more confusing to me. And then there's a quarter in the water, like it was some type of magic trick.
And I had to fish it out of the tooth water. The water, there was like tooth juice in it.
I thought you were gonna say like the quarter was in there and it was empty, like how kids leave sand and milk. You left it like a tooth water,
right? Like she drank it too, so now like it's sort of like a weird internal cannibalism thing.
My mom, like I bet she considered it. I bet she loved me that much.
Oh no, my mom would have done. There would have been a level of guilt with my mom. They would have had to put in a level of guilt where if the tooth sinks, you need to brush more.
Oh my God, I talk about this. That my dad, the things I realize now that they said to us when we were little, like my dad used to tell me, oh, well, if you don't eat all your vegetables, all your food, we have to go to the hospital. You're going to have to get a needle. and we were like, we literally, I was shoveling broccoli and gagging into my mouth.
You got to get a needle.
A needle. I mean, a needle is so ominous too. It's like a needle for what? Like a needle.
You're just going to need a needle.
Dude, parents in the 80s and 90s were so savage. So savage.
I remember like being like in my 20s and remembering he said that. I said to my sister, I was like, do you remember they told us they threatened us that we would go to the hospital if we didn't eat all the vegetables? It's so crazy.
God, I love it so much.
And then in the same breath, mommy, daddy will never lie to you. We love you so much.
We can't wait to have you in town. You're going to be playing the Paramount coming up in March. So definitely, I'm grabbing tickets. Get the tickets. If you haven't seen your special yet, make sure you look it up on YouTube. It's so funny.
Yes, please come on back. Talk to my team. Get some tickets. Come back. Say hello. And
I would love that. Oh my God. Please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Great to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for taking the time with me.
Of course.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.